Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Nina Ribena's Art Journal Prompts and More. It's the beginning of April, and so of course time for us to have a new mood board, and this is the mood board that Elaine Gardner, one of the admins in our Facebook group, the one that she has chosen for this month, and I just think it's beautiful, absolutely perfect. And so the prompt for this month is Easter. It doesn't have to be religious, whoops daisy, doesn't have to be religious, just think about what the Easter period means to you. And the reason I have opted for Easter rather than spring is that you ladies and gentlemen based in Australia and New Zealand and, you know, that side of the world are just going into your autumn period right now. So I know spring is just really difficult for you guys to deal with, but I thought Easter might be a more appropriate prompt. And as I say, it doesn't have to be religious, just think about Easter and you know what that makes you think of. Does it make you think of blossom trees, Easter bunnies, Easter eggs, chicks? Is it the colours, the pastel colours, and you know, sort of like shabby chic? This is completely open to interpretation. So this is the mood board. Feel free to print this off. You'll also find this in the Facebook group as well, that you'll be able to print off on your printers at home. And I'll also leave another still of this at the end of the video. So I'm just going to pull out some supplies and let's get started. I'm opting to use my distress paints this week. I haven't used them for absolutely ages. I went through a phase of using these all the time because I just love the beautiful marbling effects that you can achieve with them. I'm going to be using some 300 GSM smooth cardstock as my substrate, and these are the colours I'm going to be using. And let me just pull up the mood board again, bear with me, where's it gone? Here we go. So you can see that the colours there do reflect the colours that are in the mood board. There is no specific way that you have to choose to interpret this, just whatever that means to you. So if you see something completely differently, then you know that's absolutely fine. Interpret this in any way that you see fit. I'm working on a Teflon mat as well today, just because I find that these mingle and marble better, spread better by doing it that way. I haven't used these for absolutely ages, so I might need to bring in a piece of scratch paper. Here we go, because I bet you these have gone a bit crumbly. I've given them a good shake, but let's just see. I'm bound to get some crumbly bits because, as I say, I haven't used these in a very long time. So I'm just going to tidy these up a bit and then we'll put some paint down. Okay, so I've tidied these up and I'm just going to put some paint down. And if I see any crumbly bits that I've missed, I'm just going to wipe them out of the way. So I've got this weathered wood to start off with. I've also got two shades of pink as well, Victorian Velvet and Span Sugar, which is very close to the pink in the mood board. So we'll have a little bit of this as well. Oh, come on, out you come. So it's just a case, these have all got a sponge on the top. I do believe that Tim Holtz has now changed the packaging of these distress inks, but I absolutely love them. One paint I will not be buying again is the Dilutions paints. Mine have all set rock hard, despite the fact that Ranger replaced them. The new ones have gone hard already. Complete and utter waste of money, and I will not be, as I say, buying them again. Just, you know, they are just not for me, I've decided. But these distress paints, I've had these forever, and you can still see that they're nice and fluid, and the colours are just absolutely beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is spray these with some water, and you'll see that you just get the most wonderful sort of marbling effect. So I've got my piece of cardstock. I'm just going to put this down and just drag it through that gorgeous, yummy paint, and we'll see what we end up with. And I find that this works better on a Teflon craft mat. Just look how pretty that is, than using it on a glass mat for some reason. It just seems to, the marbling just seems to work better. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. So I am just going to give that a quick blast with my heat tool. Beautiful that is. I just love this marbling effect that you get with these paints, and I just love this speckledy effect as well, which reminds me of the speckles that you'd get on an egg. Now I've got this lovely paint left, and so what I'm going to do is go in again, and let's just see if we can pick up any more texture. Just look, just to give it a bit more pattern and interest. If you are using distress inks, distress paint, you need to choose your colours really, really wisely, because otherwise you will end up with a horrible, horrible muddy mess. There we go, and I'm going to give this another dry, and I'm just drying it on a piece of kitchen towel. My paper is warping because of course I've used cardstock as opposed to mixed media paper, but I just find you get a better effect using the cardstock. This is how my background is looking, and I just absolutely love that, but I want to build up lots of detail, so I've pulled out my Prismacolor pencils. You could use any kind of coloured pencils for this, but I want something quite subtle, and so I'm just going to choose some pink colours here, and I am just going to doodle some flowers like this. They don't have to be perfect by any means. It's just building up some doodles in the background. So I'll probably put this onto fast forward, because you know, otherwise it's just going to get pretty boring for you. So I'm just going to choose places and just doodle like this. And as I say, the reason I have used the Distress paints this week is, I could have done a very, very similar thing with Distress oxides, but the trouble is with the Distress oxides is that they're water reactive, whereas the Distress paints are permanent because it is acrylic paint. So that's the reason I've opted for that. So I'm just going to keep going, just building up doodles where I see fit. And where I've got areas where I don't have a dot to turn into a flower, I'm just adding a charcoal pencil like that. This is just a Derwent tinted charcoal, and I can just, you know, add them wherever I want them, and I'm just building up this gorgeous, pretty, subtle background. I love that. How pretty. How pretty is that? I've finished adding my flowers, and I just think that looks so pretty, or at least it does to me anyway. So I've grabbed some of the Distress paint in weathered weathered wood, and I'm just going to spread some of this out on my craft mat, and what I want to do is just add a bit of stamping. So I've got my grotty old script stamp, and I'm just going to be really, try to be really random about this, and just add some touches of stamping. And I'm just going to go over it 2 or 3 times, just because I really like the way that that looks, and it's just really subtle, and just look what that adds to my page. So I'm just going to keep going. I don't want to try and add too much. I love that. Oh gosh, I think this is going to turn out really well. I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. I think my background is building up really nicely. The one thing you will notice with Distress paints, if ever you use them, is they do take a bit longer to dry, and I don't know whether you can see if I tilt that, it's still glossy and it's still wet in a couple of places, but of course if I apply too much heat with my heat tool, I'm just going to bubble the paint, which I love, and you've seen me do that before, but I don't want to do that in this instant. Now I've got my cross stencil. This is a the Creative Expressions crosses, I think it's called, and I'm just going to add some of this. I'm going to use the Victorian Velvet, which I think will look really pretty, so I'm going to add a few of these to my background as well. I just love how this background is looking. It's so subtle and pretty and yet busy at the same time. I'm going to use some of the picket fence now, and I want to add a few hearts using the Gina Aaron's stamp. So I just want a few little hearts like this. I just think that will look whimsical and cute. Don't overthink where you're putting them, Nina. Just go for it. See, it's so hard not to overthink things, isn't it? You know, if you think that you overthink things, we all do it. And, you know, it's just one of those things. Try and be random. And I've still got a little bit of this white paint. So I'm just going to see if I've got enough to stamp a few circles. And of course, you all know, yeah, here we go. Just a few subtle bits and pieces. Nothing too... that I want to stand out too much. And I'm using these are paintbrush protectors. These are the plastic bits that you get on the end of your new paintbrushes. So if you buy yourself some new paintbrushes, don't throw these away, because they are just really good stamping tools. I think I want to add one last finishing touch to my background. I've put some of the weathered wood down, and again I'm using these paintbrush protectors, and I just want to add some little circles to my flowers. I think I'm going to have to use a couple of different sizes. I've been doing a leftover piece as well, a mop-up piece, so let's just use some of the leftover paint to decorate that too, so that we've got something for another piece. And I might not do this to all of them, but I just think it just adds just, you know, a little something extra. Can you see how cute is that? And you see, this is typical me. I'm adding more circles using the grey. I just can't stop myself. I just love how that looks. Now, you know, anybody who's followed me for a long time knows that I love a busy background. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I know that, but I think if you're really subtle with your colours, it just works without, you know, anything being too crazy. That just, oh, I love that. It's just beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous. There we go. I think I am done. So this is my finished background. I absolutely love how that looks. Let me just see if I can stand up and show you some of the detail closer up. But I want to draw a focal image, and you all know how rubbish I am at drawing, so if I can do this, anybody can. I want to do a whimsical rabbit, and I'm going to use a Derwent tinted charcoal pencil, just because it's easy to rub it out if I go wrong. I want to try and work not completely central, just, you know, offset to the side. So I'm going to start off by doing my rabbit face, something like this. I don't want it sort of, you know, looking completely sort of oval and symmetrical. I want my ears as well, of course, something like this. I want to be really loose and whimsical about this, because it's charcoal. If it doesn't look too right now, of course I can just rub it out and alter it as I go along. So, you know, not looking too bad at the moment. Well, at least I don't think it does anyway. So let's just try and alter these ears. As I say, because it's tinted charcoal, we can just rub it out as we go along. Then, of course, I want... Oh, now how do we do this? We sort of do a triangle shape, don't we? Just for the... Something like this. If I go wrong, I can rub it out. And I'm trying to sort of copy the rabbit that Lainey had in the mood board, which had sort of kind of curly whiskers, which don't seem to be taking too well on the flower, on the distress paint. So I might need to have a think about how I do that, maybe with you know, a permanent marker pen or something. I don't know. We'll just try and get those in as best we can. And then of course I want some whimsical eyes for my rabbit as well. Something like this. And then I think what I'm going to do is go over this with some grey paint. I want my rabbit to have sort of chubbier cheeks than that, but as I say, the good thing is about charcoal pencil that you can just keep rubbing it out, just, you know, like that. If you don't like what you've got, it's really easy to work. And I've got a jar of water here, just to my right hand side, and I am just going to try and do the body following the lines that I put in earlier. I just want to try and create some kind of shading. I just want this to be really whimsical, and I don't want to cover up all the detail that I've got in the background either. I want that to show through. So let's see what we can come up with, and I just find it easier to just, you know, keep turning and tilting my page. That just works for me. Do what works for you. I love that, and we can add more shading as well afterwards. How cute! How cute is that? Also got some of the Victorian violet that I put out as well, so I just want to try and add some detail with that too. And I just want this to look really whimsical. My rabbit's face looks a bit too big, so I'm just going to try and get it more in proportion. There we go, that's looking better. And of course we can smudge and rub this charcoal out, which is just, you know, the good thing about it. I just want to draw my rabbit's nose. So we're going to have sort of like a triangle here, like this. That's cute. And then we need to do the eyes as well. Something like this, and then we can go over this later and just fill in the detail. So I'm just smudging my rabbit. Here we go. These Derwents just smudge beautifully, just to soften all the edges like this. And then I'm going to go back in with a Stabilo All pencil. I just love that, and I love how you can see all the detail that is underneath the paintwork. I love that. And so now I've got my Stabilo All pencil, and I can go back in again and, you know, just really define all the areas I want to. I just love this, and I want to be really loose and scribbly about this. Now I've got one of my Prima oil pastels, and that's what I'm going to use just to frame my page. Mine's broken. Oil pastels do break. That's just the way it goes, but you know, it doesn't mean to say that you can't use them. And again, I just want this loose and scribbly. I don't want it perfect. at all. I love that. That's so cool. I love that. In fact, I'm going to carry that on along the bottom as well because it just doesn't look right. Here we go. There we are. I just love how my rabbit looks. It just looks so whimsical and cute, and I've just drawn loads of scribbly lines, and you know, I've kept playing with the face. And then what I want to do, I've dug out some of these flowers, and these are flowers that I picked up from the scrap store. They're all fabric flowers, and I'm just going to place some of these on here randomly like this. I just love how that looks. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Another grey one there. And then we've just got another purpley coloured one there. And I'm just going to glue those down with some Fabri-Tac on the right hand side. And I think that's going to finish off my page. So here's my Fabri-Tac. And I'm just going to add glue to the middle because I do want these to be dimensional. I don't want them completely stuck flat to the page. Now I have watered my Fabri-Tac down again with some acetone because it does have a tendency to go thick and gloopy. But acetone, just a little bit in a dropper. You've seen me do that before. Just makes it all the more usable again and saves you having to throw it away. So I'm just going to play around with this, and as soon as I've done that I shall be back. So here's my art journal page. I love how this looks, but the eyes on the bunny are just not doing it for me. There's something not quite right, and so I think what I'm going to do is try and wipe some of it off first and then go over it with some gesso and see if I can fix it. Well, I've tried wiping it off and I've smudged it absolutely everywhere and made it even worse. So I'm just going over with some gesso and I'm just tapping the gesso on, and here you go. In nearly every project I do there is something that I don't like and I have to fix. So do not think that that you're alone in this. It's just part of the course. It's just one of those things that happens. You just very rarely get everything right, but there is usually a way of fixing it. So I'm just going to go over with some gesso like this, and then I shall dry that, and then I'll go back over with some of the distress paint in the grey and the pink. Just to try and add some colour back in. I mean, already that looks better. Well, I'm glad to say that I finally got there with my art journal page. It was the eyes that just weren't quite right, and so what I ended up doing was rubbing away the eyes that were already there with a baby wipe, and then just dabbing on with more of the distress paint, and I think I used some white gesso as well just to cover up the mistake that I had made, and then I just drew on these really simple eyes, and what a difference that has made. And then I've just done a little bit of extra stamping on my bunny rabbit, and that is that. And so my quote today is, no journey is too great if you find what you seek. And how true is that? I think sometimes as well that, we get frustrated because we know that something isn't right, and the temptation is to, chuck it out the window, put it in the naughty drawer and start again. Whereas quite often it's just a really simple fix to make things right. So I've added some shading around the bunny as well. I've added a bit of extra stamping on the bunny rabbit too, and that is my finished art journal page. And I'm starting a new journal. I'm going to use one of these craft journals. This is just a journal that I get from Hobbycraft. It's scrapbooking journal, spiral bound scrapbooking journal. These are really inexpensive. They're £3. I think they might be £3.50 now, and quite often they're on offer as well. So I've mounted my quote just on on some foam tiny squares, so I'm going to glue that down, and I've also added some of the red sticky tape as well, so that's how I'm going to attach my journal page, just like that. So I shall go off and do that, and then I'll be back. I absolutely love that art journal page, so my advice to you is, if you do something and it isn't quite right, don't give up. Just, you know, just take a step back, you know, walk away for a day or two as well and look at it with fresh eyes, and quite often you'll come up with different ideas. So that is my art journal page for April, week 1, my Easter themed page, and I look forward to seeing what everybody else decides to do for this week's mood board prompt. I'm going to show you the mood board again in a second. So take care everyone. If you enjoyed what I did today, then as always I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and do let me know what you think in the comments below, and take care everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.